Hey guys, TJ here from Hyperpolicy and bringing you guys another Members First deck profile. This week you guys selected Dragon Linkz to be the one that you guys wanted to have brought to you all. I've been playing a lot of Dragon Linkz. I love this deck. I loved it all the way back in EX-03. It's one of my favorite decks of all time. It's very fun. It's very cool. There's a lot of neat themes to it. And I'm really excited to do this profile. Before we jump into that, though, real quick, if you guys are watching this on Monday, that means you're a member. I want to just thank you so much for the support. We appreciate it. Don't forget, you guys also have those new benefits that are going to be rolling out for you all with the deck workshops that we're going to be doing. That you can just ping me for, and we'll figure something out in Discord, just in the members general chat. Just go ahead and ping me, and we'll figure out a time to do the deck workshop. And then aside from that, there will also be the weekly deck reviews that are going to be starting next Friday, or I guess it'll be this Friday, as when this video goes live. And if you're watching this video on Wednesday, that means that this is out to the public. And thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a good time. If you're checking out this video, maybe subscribe to the channel. If you're watching our other content, we have a lot of stuff out there for you all to watch. If you enjoy this video, leave it a like. We appreciate it. And if you are somebody who's already been part of the community for a while and have been thinking about becoming a member, you should. We have more benefits rolling out and a lot of other things that are going to be going on soon as well. It's going to be really, really cool, and we'd love to have you guys along for the ride. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump now into the deck profile. So, starting off with our rookies, I am running 4 copies of BT14 Coralmon and 1 copy of BT17 Gigimon. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to take too much time going over them. Coral, just probably one of the best draw eggs in the game right now, and GG is just good for dealing with smaller bodies that could floodgate you, as well as stacking it with other deletion effects you have when attacking. Later on, I'll go over it in a little bit. Moving on from that, onto rookies. We'll start with 4 of the new EX-07 Jazzamon, who has starter main phase. By trashing 1 card with the Rock Dragon or Earth Dragon trait in your hand, you draw 1 card and gain 1 memory. Great way of helping you extend your plays for your turns. This deck definitely can be a little bit memory starved. Things can be a little bit costly at the top end. So it helps to have that extra memory and extra just draw consistency. And then inheritable of opponent's turn, get +2 KDP. Always good for, just making sure people can't beat over your stacks. Moving on from Jazza onto our other 4 of level 3, Vorvomon. I almost called him Volcanomon. That's not that Digimon. Sorry. Vorvomon is an on-play, top 3 search. You add 1 card with Rock Dragon, Earth, Machine, or Sky Dragon trait. And 1 Hina Kurihara among them to the hand, and return the rest to the bottom of the deck. Just your standard searcher. Then it has inheritable of +2 KDP during your turn, which just helps with your aggression, making sure that you can beat over any blockers or redirectors, and make sure you survive those security checks, because we do get pretty beefy at the top end. That's it for the EX-07 rookies there. Moving on from that, I'm not running any of the old EX-3 rookies. I think that the old Jazza and Vorvo are heavily outdated. Their inheritables are meh. Jazza's a bit better because at least he gives you like all turns. If you have an on-play effect, you get +1 KDP. However, their effects of being just your turn, if you play Hina, you either gain a memory or pop something with 3 KDP or less, respectively. It just doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel good most of the time. You never really want to drop a Hina, like hard drop a Hina with one of them out there. There's never like an instance where that's usually like the right play, so I just don't run them. Instead, I run the Uko package. I'm running 3 BT16 Ukomon for that, your turn when one of your Digimon moves from the breeding area to the battle area, reveal top 3, add 1 Digimon card or 1 Tamer card among them to the hand, return the rest to the bottom of the deck, then you hatch in your breeding area. And then of course the promo Uko, who's restricted to 1. Of similar effect of one of your Digimon moves from the breeding area to the battle area, you may hatch in the breeding area and then gain 1 memory. I decided to put these in here. I'm still testing it. So far, it's felt a little bit better. The biggest thing I found with the deck is that it costs so much to Evo, and you don't have a means of like blitzing or attacking end of turn. So oftentimes you'll Evo into your big boss monster, and you'll end up passing turn from there, right? And that sucks. That's not great. You don't want to do that usually, because you have means of floating other bodies, but ideally you want to try and get some aggression out. So to try and give us a little bit more, kind of just quicken the pace of the deck, the Uko engine's hopefully there to kind of just help get some early chip, get some more consistency, some more memory gain, and so far it's been working pretty well. But, I'm still testing a lot. This build is like my 4th iteration of the deck. I keep on trying to find ways to make this deck work as competitively as possible. And at this point, I am just getting kind of wild out there, trying out different things. I'll go over some of the other choices you can run in this deck later on, but anyways, that's going to be it for the rookies. That's it for the Ukos. Hopefully you get the idea. Moving on to level 4s, our champions. We run 4 copies of the EX-07 Jezzardmon. Honestly, great card. On play, by trashing 1 card with the Rock Dragon or Earth Dragon trait in your hand, you draw 2. And then when digivolving, if you have 1 or fewer Tamers, you may play 1 Hina Kurihara from your hand without paying the cost. So, you know, this is... We're starting to see this more consistently with future sets. But Dragon Linkz did get access to sort of the free Tamer play power creep. That is just phenomenal. It's really nice to have. It means that we can get extra Hinas out there. It means even if we hard up a Tamer turn 1, we still have a means of playing out a Hina later on. It's nice. It's just good. And, you know, same inheritable as Jazzo, where the entire, like, black line in this have opponent's turn, give plus 2 KDP. And then the red line give your turn, give plus 2 KDP. That's pretty much the whole thing, except for at least the rookies in the 4s. I shouldn't say the whole line. But it's good inheritable, good effect. And, of course, you know, a cool thing, too, is if you already have a Hina on board, you could potentially, like, Evo into Jazzard, suspend Hina to activate your on-play as a one digivolving effect, which we'll get to that, how that all works in a little bit. In case you're someone who's brand new to Dragon Linkz, I'll explain it. But basically, you can use your Hina to activate your on-plays as one digivolving effects, and then you could potentially maybe draw another Hina and then drop a Hina for free. You know, there's some cool stuff you can do there. Anyways, moving on. We run 4 copies of EX-07 Lavorvomon. On play, return 1 card with Machine Dragon or Sky Dragon trait, or 1 Hina Kurihara from your trash to the hand. So it's just good. It just helps you get back your Tamers if they get popped. Helps you get back your Metallic Dramons, who often they're probably like your second body on board oftentimes after your first stack. If you do lose the first stack, they're the ones that you aren't able to really play out from trash. So you want to ideally, you know, have those in hand to play. So it's good. And then the same with digivolving effect to play out the Hina if you have 1 or less Tamers. And then, like I said before, the inheritable of your turn plus 2 KDP. Just good effect. Nothing wrong with there. And then to round out our level 4s, I'm running 2 copies of the EX-03 Jazzardmon. I'm still running 2 of these because I wanted just more consistency at seeing level 4s. It's also a decent card to open up with. It's not terrible. It has 4 drops, so it's not bad. And then on play, reveal top 4, add 1 Digimon card with Rock, Earth, Bird, Machine, or Sky Dragon in its traits, and 1 Hina among them to the hand. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So, you know, just a good means of consistency, a good search, a good cycle. You can activate its on plays and when digivolving off of Hina effects later on to help you keep on stacking and keep building your board. But, you know, I still wanted to just have this in here. And then inheritables, all turns, while you have an on-play effect, you get plus 1 KDP. Pretty much everything we run has an on-play effect, so it's a good effect. It's a good inheritable. That's going to wrap up for level 4s. Moving on to the 5s. We're running 4 copies of EX-07 Jazzarichmon. This card's awesome. It's phenomenal. Such a good card. On play, de-digivolve 1 of your opponent's Digimon, and then when digivolving, if your opponent has has no level 5 or lower or higher Digimon, you gain 1 memory. Sorry, I'm speaking too fast. Anyways, so it's just a good means of, 2-cost Evo is pretty consistent. The fact that, you know, the on-play just de-digivolve 1 can be really nice to just drop this against ace stacks if you need to just try and build up to a body really quick. So it's very, very helpful in that regard. And then it has the amazing inheritable of opponent's turn. Once per turn, when any of your opponent's Digimon attack, you may change the attack target to this Digimon. So it's just a flat redirect. There's no requirements on it. This card, honestly, could probably go far in other decks as well that can maybe find uses out of it. But even just in Dragon Linkz already, it's fun. It's good. We needed a blocker. We needed a solid means of redirect. And honestly, like the old Metallic Dramon is cool, but Metallic Dramon from EX-03 just basically gains blocker and reboot if you have a Tamer during your opponent's turn. This one just being a flat redirect, so like even Digimon that ignore blockers but don't ignore redirects, that you can still like pull them, is really nice. It's really, really good. It helps you get around like things like Ancient Garuru, for example. If they're trying to avoid you, like those like hybrids and stuff like that, you can stop that. So it's very nice. It's very good. Moving on from that, other level 5, we just run the 2 EX-07 level 5s. We run 4 copies of the EX-07 Lavogaridamon. On play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. When digivolving, if your opponent has no Digimon with 6,000 DP or less, you gain 1 memory. So just another 2-cost Evo potentially, which is really nice. Means of clearing smaller bodies off the board that helps us set up for our Volcanic Dramons, which is really, really good. And then just inheritable of Sec +1. Aggression. We love it, baby. Hell yeah. We take that. That's going to be it for level 5s. That wraps it up there. Moving on to level 6s. I run 9 level 6s in my deck. I know. I'm crazy. But this deck kind of needs it, and you'll understand why in a minute. So, starting off, our new EX-07 Metallic Dramon. This card is a monster. It is a beast of a card. So on play, when attacking, you de-digivolve 4, one of your opponent's Digimon. Now keep in mind, because it's de-digivolve 4, you can de-digivolve anywhere from 1 to 4 on an opponent's Digimon. You don't have to do the full 4. So you can choose to land somewhere else if it's more beneficial to you for other stuff. Oftentimes it probably won't be with how this deck plays, but just something to keep in mind for the future. And then has when digivolving, none of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon can digivolve until the end of their turn. So when you combine that with the on play when attacking effect of digivolve 4, and then if you evo that same turn, then you use a Hina to activate your on play as a when digivolving effect, you can put something back down from a level 7 or a level 6 down to a rookie or a level 4, and then just lock them out of digivolving, and they're just stuck. They can't do anything. They just can't. Now keep in mind, your opponent can still digivolve in the breeding area. That's a separate, like, protected little zone there. The effect does not apply there, so people can still do that there, but you know, it's still very, very good for just like locking down something on a board and making sure that, hey, you're not going to be able to digivolve. That card's stuck there, and I'm probably going to clear it next turn because I have lots of forms of removal in my deck. So that's that. And then it has a really cool effect where all turns, once per turn, when this Digimon would leave the battle area, other than by your effects, you may play one Digimon card with the Rock Dragon or Earth Dragon trait from your trash without paying the cost. So this means we can potentially, if you're going to lose Metallic Dramon off the board, if it's going to go bye-bye, you can just spit out a Volcanic Dramon from trash, which is insane. Just dropping a 13 play cost, level 6 13 KDP, who on play just deletes something with the lowest DP. Or if you drop the EX-3 one, you delete everything with the lowest DP. It's just a very good effect. It's very, very nice. Where this deck loses out in having like consistent protections or something like that, it has the ability to float large bodies on board. And you can structure that too, because you can also float out your 3s, your 4s, your 5s. You can, you know, float out however would work best for you. If you think you need to like build a line to get to like a certain TP threshold, or if you really want that Sec +1 inheritable, you can spend out the Lava Garidamon. There's a lot of cool things you can do. It's very, very nice. It's very, very efficient. It's very, very powerful. It's a good effect. Moving on from that, we run 3 copies of the EX-07 Volcanic Dramon. Same all turns effect as Metallic Dramon. However, there's just 2 little differences. The first difference is that it plays out a Machine Dragon or Sky Dragon trait Digimon, and it does not play from trash, it plays from hand. Keep that in mind. That's why I was saying before that I think this one's usually your one you want to go up to first. Swing to your checks. If it goes bye-bye or dies out there, you can, you know, play a Metallic Dramon from your hand. Metallic Dramon's going to go bye-bye, goes to trash, and then Volcanic Dramon comes back from trash. It's awesome. It's really, really cool. There's some cool cycling you can do with this stuff. Aside from the all turns effect, though, it has on play when attacking, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP. Good effect. Just removal. Good clear. And when digivolving, your opponent can't play or move Digimon with 6,000 DP or less until the end of their turn. This is an insane effect. This locks them in the breeding area. It's almost like a Ruin Mode Light, if you will, right? Where like they can't, if they push up, they can't push up at all in this version. Whereas with Ruin Mode, they can. It'll die right away. But, you know, it's a very, very powerful effect. It's very, very good. And the fact they can't play either. If you're ahead in the game, they can't play rookies to search. Like, they can't do anything like that, right? They have to rely on options or Tamers or something. So, it's super powerful. Great effect. Awesome card. I love it. Also, the art goes so hard. It's so, so cool. It's so cool. Moving on from that. We run 1 copy of the EX-03 Volcanic Dramon. This card is still very powerful and can sneak out games for you in very, very niche situations. So it has on play, delete all of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP. If no Digimon is deleted by this effect, your opponent can't play Digimon with 5,000 DP or less until the end of the turn. So just a good effect, right? You're going to delete everything with lowest DP. And if you don't delete anything, then you go ahead and you just say, hey, you can't play anything out, which is, you know, at least anything with 5,000 or less, which is pretty good. That's not bad. And then has, and this is the reason why we really still run this in the deck. When attacking, if you have a Tamer in play, trash 1 card from the top of your opponent's security stack. It's so good. Security trashing is so powerful. Being able to completely disregard security effects most of the time, unless it's like very niche cards like Revelation of Light or Odin's Breath, stuff like that. Those obviously get around it because they still activate their effects when they're trash from security, but it's a very powerful effect. It's very, very good. There's been a couple of times now where like my Metallic Dramon, I'll have my opponent like 1 security left. My opponent will clear my Metallic Dramon. Metallic Dramon will go ahead and play out this Volcanic Dra. Volcanic Dra will clear everything on the board, and then on my turn they have to like they can't answer it. Like, I just swing and trash that last security and it's game. It's done. I've had that happen a couple of times for me. It's really nice. You know, it can be hard to play to that situation sometimes, just trying to get the aggression there, because the deck does struggle with aggression. So having every piece we can to give us aggression is nice. I honestly would run more of this card if I could, but with how the meta is nowadays, how everything has formed, how much removal there is, you really need the ability to consistently float between your bodies with Volcanictra and Metallictra from EX-07, because it's very, very powerful. So that's why he's a one-of. He's just there for that little sort of like quick little chip and do some, maybe just take game or just do a big burst of damage by trashing a security and then checking too with like a Lava Garita inheritable. But otherwise, that's his whole shtick. And then rounding out our level 6s, I run one copy of Dorbeckmon. Dorbeck's just good, you know, just a surprise little 3-cost rush card that hits the board, pops a 13 KDP or less Digimon if you have all 5 sources under there. And of course, it gets all the benefits of all the effects in this deck where nothing is coded against him, right? Like he can get the +2 KDP during opponent's turn, he can get the +2K during your turn, he can get the sec +1, he can get the redirect, he has an on-play effect, so he can get the EX3 Jezzardmon's all turns effect as well to give him extra DP. It's just helpful. It's just good. It's very, very useful. And something cool, something a little neat tidbit you can do here. I haven't really done it too much myself. It's been hard to find situations to do it. But you can potentially Digicross with one of your Metallictramons or Volcanitramons that are on board with your Dorbeck, and that'll proc their all turns effect because they're not leaving by means of your effect. Digicrossing is a game mechanic, right? So you can go to play Dorbeck using it as a source, use the all turns effect of the Volcanitramon or the Metallictramon from EX-07 to spit out another one of them onto the board, potentially get some crazy removal, and then drop a Dorbeck for like 3 and pop something else too. Like, it's just good. It's just really, really good. So it's awesome. It's cool. It's a neat little thing you can do. I don't do more of it because I don't run enough different like named dragon cards in here to successfully like really you know, like do it very easily and consistently. I have to really kind of play towards that strategy and be careful of it. But it's a nice little surprise that has definitely won me some games. Aside from that, that's the Digimon. That's going to wrap up there. Moving on to the options. I just run one option, and that's just 4 copies of Dark Gaia Force. I've run so many different options. I've run Fireballs. I've run Trident Gaias. I've run Air of Dragons. I've tried Win Rate as well. Win Rate is a good card. And all those cards are good cards you can run. All those cards are cards that you can put into your deck, but oftentimes I feel like I'm just like, even like Fireball doesn't help me draw enough, so I'd rather just play the line and then just have big security bombs to deal with things, because if something has protection from Digimon effects, you aren't touching it. It's bad. And Dark Gaia Force is really nice because it deletes based off of play cost for the main effect, so it works really well into a meta when there's loads of ace cards running around where you can just pop full boards and get loads of memory back for it. It makes it less expensive than it used to be. And then, of course, you know, out of security, it deletes when your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 15 or less, which is, you know, just about every Digimon in the game, save for, like, Cross 7 Superior Mode and, like, Death X. Otherwise, everything else, I'm pretty sure is 15 or less. There might be some other stuff I'm missing, but, you know, or you can, maybe, it might be 16, I don't remember. But anyways, you get the idea. You get the point. It'll clear 90% of the things that are existing in the game right now. So it's a good effect, very powerful. And I love it. It's great. It's a good time. And it's pretty easy to achieve that. I mean, all you need is like one of our Tamers on board, which we'll get to in a second, the ties, and then like an egg hatched. That's it. And then just Dark Gaia Force, clear a board potentially. That's good. Moving on from the options, we run 3 copies of the ST15 Tai Kamiya. This is the Memory Setter one from the War Greymon Ace structure deck, where, you know, Memory Setter, and then all turns when an attack target is switched by suspending this Tamer, draw 1, and whenever Digimon gets +2 KDP until the end of the turn. It's just good. It's just a good means of making sure that your blockers are as big as they possibly can be. It helps you also with drawing consistency to make sure you're finding your pieces better for your deck. And Memory Setter is so needed for this, and so it works out really, really well. Another Tamer you could run for Memory Setting is also the BT9 Hero Amanakawa, who just, if you're level 5 or higher or have Yamamana name, when you swing, you can suspend the Tamer to get +2 KDP. That's very nice too. I just opted for this because I like to be more control and defensive with my playstyle, and it works really well with the Jezzarich inheritable from EX-07. So, you know, and with how big things climb in DP right now, I'd like to be able to either DP climb when I want to redirect, or if I get redirected or blocked, being able to tap him to go ahead and make my guy bigger as well to possibly swing over their redirector if they're not doing the math right. So that's a whole other thing too. And then rounding out the deck, our last tamer, the queen herself, she who makes this deck function. 4 copies of Hina Kurihara from EX-03. Why we didn't get one in this set, I will never understand. It's still Page for me. But she started your turn if your opponent has Digimon in play. Gain 1 memory. This is like one of the earliest iterations of this effect. She's the one who started this, man. she's phenomenal. And then your turn, when one of your Digimon digivolves into a Digimon with the Rock Dragon, Earth Dragon, Machine Dragon, or Sky Dragon in its traits, you may suspend this tamer to activate one of that Digimon's on-play effects. And so keep in mind, you can activate this multiple times. If you have multiple Hinas on board, you can keep resting your Hinas to keep activating your on-play as a one Digivolving effect. So like, let's for example, say we Evo into, we'll say like the old EX-03 Volcanic Dramon. This will be old faithful example that people understand. You Evo into it, you tap Hina, delete all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP. Okay, cool. You cleared like 2 level 3s and still have like a level 4 and a 5 on board. Tap another Hina, clear the 4. Tap another Hina, clear the 5. You just can keep tapping your Hinas, you know, as many as you have on board, of course, to keep activating that on play over and over again, to clear entire boards, to stop people from playing things with 5,000 DP or less, like what that one does. You can de-digivolve, you can pop one thing with lowest DP. It's very, very good. It's very, very nice. It's an awesome effect. And there's a lot of cool ways you can stack it. So, you know, we love that. So, anyways, that is going to be it for the profile there. As for good matchups, bad matchups, tech choices, good matchups. Other control decks, honestly, you guys have a good sort of back and forth dialogue that Dragon Linkz can oftentimes sort of float out of because you can like keep consistently playing things out from your trash and from your hand to punish their plays of like trying to control your board. Say for like Leviah can be very, very hard to navigate around, and like Lilith X in general, like she can also be very difficult. But most other ones you have a pretty decent chance against. For bad matchups, anything, if it's too fast, like if the deck is just a deck that like often wins by turn 2 or turn 3, where the game is decided by then, you've probably lost. The problem with it, we'll get over some of the big problems with this deck in a minute, but this deck is just, it can take some time to set up. It can be kind of slow. It can have high evo costs, and you know, it can be difficult to have that same sort of rush or oomph that you need to really push for game early. So when decks just like are out the gate swinging and you're at like 2 security by turn 3 and you're just like, okay, what do I do now? It can be very dicey. It can be very, very hard. And if they have Digimon protections, like protections from Digimon effects, that makes it even more difficult. It just gets harder at that point because then your cards really don't do anything. And like, that's why I'm running Dark Gaia Force, like try and help navigate around that. But you know, it still isn't perfect, and a lot of things just sometimes have just like complete total like omni protections, which is just silly. I don't know why Bandai did that, but it is what it is. So we figure out what we can. As for like tech choices, things you could run, I think I've mentioned some of the stuff like the options I mentioned earlier, the tamers I mentioned earlier. As for other Digimon you could run, there's not really like room to kind of like be expressive with the build too much in terms of like the Digimon you run, except for like maybe at like the 4s and the 5s. I'm not running any of the EX-03 level 5s because oftentimes I don't want to drop them for 8. Evoing into them to clear something and then play a Hina for free is nice, but it came up so rarely, and their inheritables are just worse than these ones most of the time right now. They're not bad, but these newer inheritables and their newer just like actual like card effects that they have themselves are just better. And it's not hard to get Hinas on board because of the power creep on the level 4s. So that's really nice too. Aside from that, there's like other little like small cards you could run in there for a little bit more consistency and aggression here and there. But overall, the build's been pretty good. I've really been enjoying it. The deck definitely needs a bit more oomph. I'm not gonna lie to you. It needed another Hina. We needed another Hina, or we really need that Garnet memory boost that's coming in the LMO4 that we're getting here in EN. I'm really excited for that card because that is just going to, that gets popped right in the deck right away. it gets popped right in there right away, just so I can have a bit more consistency with searching for pieces and having the memory boosts to give myself the memory I just need to be able to keep turn when I digivolve. So I can actually push aggression better. So, yeah. As for the tech choices, you could also run like little spicy things like the old ST Ragnarlord for DNA. You can maybe run some DNA inheritables somewhere in here as well if you want to try like end of turn DNA shenanigans with Blitz and that whole thing. That is a viable strategy that you can do. But overall, yeah, that's going to be the list. I think that about covers just about everything. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you guys had a good time. If you watched this far into the video, please think about subscribing to the channel, leaving a like on the video. And if you're someone who's already been around with us for a while now, think about becoming a member. Joining in. We have a lot of cool stuff going on. And like I said, before in the video, not to beat a dead horse, but we would love to have you join us for all that in this awesome journey that we've been experiencing so far. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys had a great time. And as Ben would say, we'll catch you on that flippy flip. Bye-bye.